terror a notch.
Deputy Ruth Coppinger.
Thanks, Lascain Corla. When you're a parent, you'll do anything for your child, anything for them, anything at all for them, and anything to make their life easier. But when we live in such a grossly unfair world, where wealth is sucked like a magnet to the top, so that 8 men control the same amount of wealth as 3.5 billion people, well then there are many people born into countries racked by poverty, racked by war, and just like us, they will do anything for their children. They'll take huge risks, like crossing a border into the US, or crossing the Mediterranean in a dinghy in the dark. And what those people who are unlucky enough to be born into parts of the world ravaged by imperialism now face is absolute barbarism, as exemplified by what we've seen Trump doing in relation to migrants. They face tactics reminiscent of what we saw under fascism. And the biggest fear of any parent is being separated from their child. Imagine the terror of separation while your child is locked in a cage in a gulag, exposed to all sorts of physical, sexual and other abuse. And what this government has to decide is, will it break decisively with Trump on this and with unjust immigration policies in general? Already the Irish establishment is part of an EU bloc which is silent on plundering resources in the Third World, then turning away its victims with Fortress Europe policy. We have direct provision. Now, the effect is not the same, but the intent is the same, to discourage migrants from seeking a better life in this country. These are the new policies of capitalism. And Trump's terror campaign against migrants was signalled at the beginning of his election campaign. And by the way, these aren't un-American values. This actually is written into the history of America. You know, the Veil of Tears, the actions against Native Americans, slavery. It isn't like children haven't been separated from parents before. But on his election, Donald Trump made it clear undocumented immigrants were going to be a key target. He used lies against Mexicans. He stirred up a climate of terror against many Irish undocumented. And of course there have been deportations under Bush and Obama, but this was raising the terror a notch. The Immigration Control Service are hugely feared in America. Now, obviously, immigration is essential to capitalism, to driving down wages and conditions for all workers. It's vital to divide workers. But racism itself is being stirred up, encouraged and brought out from under rocks under Trump and out into the open. Only slightly more disturbing than seeing children mistreated in this way was to read some of the Facebook comments under the pictures of some of the children in cages. And I'm going to read them to realise the effect of Trump and what he's brought out in the US. This is 3 or 4 of the comments by racist people in the US who feel emboldened now to come out. So under the picture of the child in a cage is one comment: I want to order one to do laundry. Another: we need organ donors, keep them here. Another one: I'll give you 50 bucks for it, can it paint a living room? I could go on, you know, but if a Rubicon has been crossed, even for Trump, well then consequences must follow. So the debate on the Dail is very welcome. It's welcome that we're passing a motion condemning his actions, but it must go further. We should withdraw immediately any invitation to Trump to visit this country. It is not in our name if the Taoiseach proceeds with that invitation. You should bear those comments in mind as well, Minister, if there's any thought of going for another bowl of shamrock next St Patrick's Day. I would also appeal to ordinary people to join the protest tomorrow outside the American Embassy that's been called. There's one at 4 o'clock by Amnesty and another at 5 o'clock by United Against Racism. And I would send all of our encouragement and solidarity to ordinary people of all colours in America who have taken action against Trump when he enforced a Muslim ban. And I would strongly encourage them to do exactly the same in relation to this horrific policy.